Hey, Irving Church, you are watching Gather Online. I'm Josh, and this is Testimony Tuesday. Y'all, we got an exciting week planned for you. I don't know if you knew this or not, but Thursday is the National Day of Prayer. So we are going to be doing a live service on Thursday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. If you guys join us for that, it's going to be a really great time of guided prayer. We're going to be just walking through the Lord's Prayer. It's going to be a good time. You're not going to want to miss it, so tune in for that. Y'all, I am super stoked because I just got done recording Maria Valencia's testimony. And let me just tell you this, y'all, you're not going to want to miss this. So without any further ado, check it out.
So I am a grateful believer in Jesus. I struggle with fear, negative thinking, food addiction, insecurity, gossip, and many more things. And my name is Maria. So back in 2011, I started struggling with depression. From there, it turned into fear, a lot of negative thinking, and a lot of worry. Back then, I didn't really have any friends or really any people that I could trust and talk to and confide on what my struggles were. So a couple of months after that, I reached out to the pastor who wed my husband and I told her about my struggles, and she took me to my first CR meeting, and hoping that in that I could find some healing or some answers to why I was struggling so much. I went to the meeting. I did my first step study. I completed it. I overcame depression, but my fear, my negative thinking, and my worry only got worse. And when I started my second step study, I just quit after that. I'm like, you know what? This isn't working. Really, I wasn't even sure if I believed in God at that time. The only reason I really did it was because I needed healing. I needed some peace, and I didn't get it. So I dropped out of the class. I decided to just continue my life, and it felt like I was being tormented through that time. Like I felt no sense of peace and no joy. I couldn't enjoy my 2-year-old. So after that, I got a job delivering auto parts, and during one of my routes, I would always see this church with a sign inviting people to celebrate recovery. And I never really got the courage to go just because I didn't know anybody and I wasn't just going to go in there. I just felt embarrassed to even do that. After that, somebody from my previous step study told me that they were moving the Celebrate Recovery program to a church. She sent me the address. I get there, and it ended up being the same church I had been passing by for months already. So taking that as a sort of a sign, I decided to stop, and I joined the group I had previously been with. A couple of weeks later, they decided to leave and go back to their old church, and I stayed there at Irving Church. I reached out to Becky. Becky was the first person that I felt sort of, I guess you could say, like a spiritual type of connection. I reached out to her. I went to I believe they had started a step study then. I went to the step study class with her. And the first day there, I couldn't even hold it together. I just had so much going on, so much fear, worry. I was just hopeless. I needed just hope in that situation, and I didn't have it. After that, I got invited to church. I got invited to Bible study groups, and little by little, I started integrating into this church, this atmosphere of positivity. And I started once I started doing the Bible studies, I started learning about Jesus. I started learning about the hope that he gives me, the hope that there's a better future always, and regardless of what it's going to look like, even if it's not what I want it to be, there's always something good that comes out of whatever bad thing has happened to me. So I started reading about him, and I started attending also Playdates, which were really good for me because I had a 2-year-old son at the time. I didn't have any friends, so that was such a good thing for me. And these women, would just share a little bit about what they have gone through, or just a little glimpse, I guess, of their life. And I just been like, you know what? If God did it for them, why would he do it for me? So I started just changing my whole life. And at some point, it was a little scary because change is not good. I don't like change. I like things to be one way. And I did lose people in my life because of this change. Um, but the happiness that it brought to me was not something I was going to let go compared to like what I was living before. I was baptized in 2015, I believe. I don't remember it, but I think it was 2015. After that, my husband and I we were having a really hard time in our marriage. Um, and I really thought, you know what, really believe that if he gets baptized, and he's being, I guess, led by the Spirit, we can fix our marriage. And it it took about 4 years of prayer for him to become a Christian. And through that time, I saw um, like the changes God was making. And I had to let him do that because I also have issues with control. So I wanted so badly to change my husband. And finally at that point where I'm just like, okay, God, you deal with it. I'm done with it. It's whenever I started seeing all these things just start happening. And he he got baptized, and things are better. I can say that. I always think there's always issues in marriage. I mean, we have problems all the time, but I just think it's a lot different now because we can approach our problems by, um, I guess, how Jesus teaches us to resolve these problems. It's not so much, oh, we're going to resolve them the way we used to. Now it's a different way that we resolve issues. And it's been great, also through that, I've seen I have 2 younger sisters, but the one before me, she has also come to know Christ, and she has been such a support, through my recovery as well. And it's been great. I mean, I know that that's all God. I know that because all these changes don't just happen for a reason. God does it, and he has a purpose for them. And I mean, it's just been totally, totally different. I mean, if somebody would tell me, "Oh, Maria, God is gonna transform your life this way," I would have not believed it. I would have been, you know what? No, I don't think that's true. But it's like when people say that God can't, God is saying, "Yes, I can," and that's what I feel like He did with my life, and He continues to grow me in that. I do still struggle, but through CR, I've learned to um, use my tools in order to um, I guess, overcome these issues, and the support system through it. I mean, it's been amazing. I think of the person that I can really think about always praying for me. And I know there's a lot. I can't say that there isn't, but, it's, Becky, I mean, she's not my mom, but I do see her like a spiritual mom. She's been there since the beginning. And she's not only been there through the good times, but the really hard times. She's really been a support person that I really go to. And there's been other people around church, and I don't want to mention all of them because I know that I'm going to forget and I don't want anybody to feel bad, but they really do know who they are, and it's just been really great, to have all this love. And funny thing is that, I used to ask, Jesus for him to show himself to me. That like whenever I was doubting his existence, I used to ask him, show proof to me that you're there, that you're here. And I guess I always thought, okay, he's going to appear to me physically. And that never happened. But now, I guess as 9 years later, I think back at it and I did see Jesus. I saw him through those people who I didn't know who were praying for me. I saw them through those people who serve at church. I see them. I see him. What more proof could I have than that? Than Jesus showing me all these things. I guess through it all, I guess it's like, it's true what I've been reading, that God really does have a plan for me, and I couldn't see it back then, and I think it's taken me about 9 years to realize that in between all that, um, I really was just looking at the really small picture, and God just had a way bigger picture that I couldn't see. And I'm just so thankful that Jesus came and really never gave up on me, because I gave up on him so many times. I was like, I'm done. But it's like he kept saying, no. I'm like, you have to keep going. You got to trust in me. And that's what, just happened. So um, I am a grateful believer in Jesus, and thanks for letting me share.